Om Namah Shri Atirajaya.
Om Namah Shri Atirajaya.
Vivekananda Suraye.
Vivekananda Suraye.
Satchit Sukha Swarupaya.
Satchit Sukha Swarupaya.
Swamine Tapaharine.
Swamine Tapaharine.
So, where did we leave Swamiji behind last evening? Himalayas. Going around the various pilgrimage centers. All the Nags, Naths, so many of them. Kedarnath, which was recently in the news, Amarnath, and the other pilgrimage centers. After visiting all of them, they decided to come back to the plains. While they were returning, they came to a small village one afternoon around lunchtime. The village was just a cluster of houses, and there was a common open area in the center. When Swamiji and Akhandananda came there, they saw that all the doors were open. So they were happy. They said, fine, we will get food in some place or other. They stood before one house and said, Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi. O mother, please give me alms. A lady came out, had a look at them, promptly shut the door. They were surprised. They went to the next house. Same thing. Meanwhile, all the other houses, the ladies came out to see what was happening, and all of them promptly shut the doors. First time in their travels, Swamiji and Akhandananda had seen a behavior like this. The sannyasis were shut out. That too when they are asking for food. Then Akhandananda remembered a proverb. Anybody here from Tehri, Gadhwal district? Nobody. Good, I am glad. Because if there is somebody, then I have to be careful. There is a proverb common in those areas. Gadhwali jaisa data nahi. Did you understand? Gadhwali jaisa data nahi. Lathe bina deta nahi. There is no person more hospitable than a Gadhwali, but his hospitality is displayed only when you threaten him with a stick. So the two of them stood in the center, raised their danda, and told all the villagers, if in 2 minutes you don't open the doors and bring food out, we will smash all your doors. Promptly all the houses, the doors opened, people came forward with food, and the whole village along with the two sannyasis had a common lunch. Then Swamiji asked the headman, what is this strange behavior of yours? When we come and ask for food, why did you shut the doors? The headman said, Swamiji, you don't know our problem. We are very close to Haridwar and Rishikesh, and a large number of people come from those towns wearing a Gerua cloth. They beg for food. When the lady of the house has gone inside to fetch the food, they come to the door and peep in, see what is there inside, and in the dead of night, they come and rob us. They are all robbers in the dress of sannyasis. So, we have developed a fear for the dress of sannyasis. When we saw the two of you, we also thought that you also may probably be robbers. That is why we shut the door. Swamiji later told Akhandananda, what a travesty this is of the method of renunciation. You know, when a person takes sannyas, he takes a vow in front of the fire, Agni Sakshi. I will not be a threat to the whole world, and I will not be afraid of the entire world. This is a promise. I will not be a threat to the whole world. You know Swami Dhyana Saraswati of Anikatti Ashram, Coimbatore. He used to come here very regularly. Once I asked him, he has his own ashrama in Rishikesh. I told him this story and I asked him, is this true, Maharaj? Could it be possible? He said, even today it happens. He told me something very strange. So those of you who are planning to go to Haridwar or Rishikesh, remember this. There are places there where you can hire Geruva cloth. And why do people want to hire Geruva cloth? Because people wearing Geruva cloth get free food. Bhandar. They can go to Bhandar and have free food. So you go there, hire a set of Geruva dress, wear it, go to the Bhandar, have your lunch, come back, change back to your clothing and pay whatever rental charges you have to pay to the shopkeeper. He laughed and said, even today it is happening. This is the problem. People have a tendency to cheat whenever it is possible, wherever it is possible. There is a tragedy. Sannyas ashrama was meant for a totally different purpose. But the human tendency is even to misuse that particular kind of thing. You must have read in our scriptures about two sannyasis, notorious sannyasis. Ravana sannyasi, who came in the garb of a sannyasi, kidnapped Sita. Arjuna sannyasi, again who came like a sannyasi, kidnapped Subhadra. They are given as the examples for the travesty on sannyas ashrama. From there they decided to come back to the plains. Meanwhile, Akhandananda was not keeping good health. He used to fall sick very often. Swamiji himself had fallen sick a couple of times. Then they thought it is better to go to Delhi to take rest. On their way to the Himalayas, they had stayed in the outhouse of a merchant in Delhi, big compound and a separate house at the back. So they thought of that person this time. They came straight to his house, met him and told him their problem. He said, Maharaj, no problem, you can stay in my guest house, but this evening 2 more sannyasis are expected. You will have to accommodate them also. Swamiji said, no problem. It will be nice to meet some sannyasis in your house. And in the evening, the 2 sannyasis came and they were their Guru Bhais. Swami Brahmananda, Swami Turiyananda. They were also on pilgrimage. And the 2 of them came and now there were 4 sannyasis, disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. They spent a few days happily together. Then Swamiji told Akhandananda. He used to call him Ganges, Gangadhar, Ganges. Ganges, I am going further to Rajputana. I don't want you to come with me. You go back with these people to Kolkata. Akhandananda protested. Holy Mother has asked me to accompany you, to be with you, to take care of you. Oh, it doesn't matter. We are no longer in the Himalayas. I can take care of myself, don't worry. But don't follow me or don't wait for me. You carry on, go back to Kolkata. Akhandananda had a sense of duty. He waited for 2 days and after that he set off in the same direction in which Swamiji was travelling. But he could never catch up with him because by the time he came to know where Swamiji was and came to a place, Swamiji had already left that place. It was only in Bombay, before Swamiji came down to the southern part of India, that Akhandananda caught up with him. Until then, Swamiji was all alone. Swamiji entered now Rajputana. Today it is called Rajasthan. Anybody here from Rajasthan? Nobody. Rajasthan is even today a very orthodox place. isn't it? Women have to wear parda, gungat. Are you people interested in watching Colors channel? Have you heard of that channel?
Yes.
TV channel?
Yes.
It is a Rajasthani channel.
Yes. Yes.
Every female character, gungat. You can imagine if that is the situation today, what it must have been like at the time of Swamiji's journey there. Very orthodox. Women were rarely seen outdoors. They had to remain indoors all the time. What was the reason for that? They were the target of attack by Muslims for a long time. They bore the brunt of the attack by Muslims. So, Parda system was introduced and they rarely used to step out of their houses. Whichever ladies in Rajasthan, Rajputana, Swamiji met, he met them only within the four walls of their homes and in the midst of families. Wherever Swamiji used to go, he would make inquiries about that place, about where he can stay, and taking the advice of people would go to that particular place. So in Delhi, Swamiji made an announcement that he wants to go to Alwar, the first place you meet on the way to south, in Rajputana. Rajputana in those days was a conglomeration of more than 500 principalities, each one having an emperor or a king or a raja. Very small principalities, cities, something like saying the prince of Giddenahalli, the king of Jigni, emperor of Anekal. Yes, they were only small towns, but there used to be a head, a king, full of kings. When India got independence, especially when India became a republic, 26 January 1950, we had more than 500 such kings. Our first Home Minister, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, invited all of them to Delhi for a dinner party. All of them were assembled. After the dinner, they were taken to a huge hall where Sardar Patel said he has some information. The doors of the hall were closed. Military men with arms were posted near the doors. And each one of these kings was given a slip of paper, signed on the dotted line. That is the famous document of accession, that I become a part of the Indian Republic. Only two of these people refused, and both were promptly sent away to Pakistan. That is how Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel combined all of them into one big state, called it Rajasthan. And look at the change which has taken place in Rajasthan since that time. Who is the Chief Minister of Rajasthan? Vijayaraje Sindhia, a female person, a woman. Today, a woman is the Chief Minister of Rajasthan. Where was the time at the time of Swamiji when they would not come out of doors? And today, a female member is the Prime Minister, rather the Chief Minister. Swamiji came to Alwar. He had been given an address. He went and stayed with that family, merchant family. Every evening he used to go for a walk, and in no time attracted the attention of a large number of people of that town. There was a Maharaja Mangal Singh. Mangal Singh came to hear about Swami Vivekananda. Mangal Singh was a highly educated person, very intelligent person. He was a scholar in English and Sanskrit. He had received education in India in Vedanta and also in England in English literature and other things. Very progressive looking kind of person. He didn't bother about formalities. He himself came to the home where Swamiji was staying and then invited Swamiji to come to his palace. Swamiji said, no, I'm happy with the people here. However, I can visit you in the evenings when we can have talks and discussions. Every evening, Swamiji used to go to the palace, spend time and come back. One evening, when he was in the palace, the talk came around to superstitions. Mangal Singh said, our people are highly superstitious. Look at them. What do they worship? They worship stone, they worship trees, they worship snakes. Swamiji asked him, what is wrong? What else should they worship? No, Swamiji, you are an educated man, you are a graduate. You are going around the country, you must educate them and tell them they must worship only one thing, Brahman. Swamiji told him, Maharaja, what will the ordinary people understand of Brahman? What will they know? Why do you bother about what they worship? The Maharaja went on insisting on that. Swamiji even quoted a shloka from the Gita. Na buddhi bhedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidwan yukta samacharan. When a scholar sees ordinary people worshipping in their own way, the scholar should not disturb their faith. He should encourage them, bring them higher and higher until they themselves realize what is meant by Brahman. You can't force it on people. Maharaja did not agree. Then Swamiji called the Divanji, Prime Minister. Do you have an oil portrait of your Maharaja? The Divanji said, yes, Swamiji. Is it possible for you to get it here to the hall? Divanji looked at the Maharaja nodded, yes. So the oil portrait was brought. Swamiji told the Divanji, could you please ask the servants to lay the portrait flat on the ground? The Maharaja's face became grim. His own portrait being placed on the ground like that in his presence is almost an insult to the Maharaja. And the Prime Minister started trembling. Maharaja told the Prime Minister, all right, go ahead, humor him. The portrait was laid flat on the ground. Then Swamiji told the Divanji, spit on it. Spit on it. The Divanji now started sweating profusely. Went on looking at the Maharaja. He knew what would happen if he spat on the portrait of the Maharaja. The Maharaja would say, off with his head. Then Swamiji went on telling the Prime Minister, Divanji, why are you hesitating? I told you, spit on it. What is it after all? Piece of paper? Canvas? With a lot of paint over that? Is there anything other than that? Spit on it. That is not your Maharaja. By spitting on that, are you spitting on the Maharaja? No, spit on it. When the Divanji flatly refused to do so, Swamiji looked at Maharaja Mangal Singh and said, see Maharaja, for you this may be an oil portrait, but for your Prime Minister, it is you. It represents you. He gives it the same respect as he gives to you as an individual. Exactly the same way, when an ordinary person worships a stone image, he doesn't pray to the stone image. What does he pray to? The principle behind it, the thought behind it, that it represents divinity. The Maharaja got down from the throne, came to Swamiji, prostrated before him. I am sorry, Swamiji, you have opened my eyes. I have now really understood what is the meaning of image worship, murti puja. Swamiji spent some more time there, then made an announcement. He wants to go to the southern part of Rajputana to a very famous place, Mount Abu. Have you heard of this place? What is it famous for? You have heard of it, it is a famous place. What is it famous for? Huh? Most people say international headquarters of the Brahma Kumari Sabha. There is a recent one, but before that, Bhilwada temple. The giant temple made purely of marble. It is a UNESCO heritage now. It is an international property. Nobody dare touch even a stone in Bhilwada temple. Exquisite architecture and sculpture. And one more thing, the summer capital of Rajasthan, Rajputana. All the kings would gather in summer in that particular place because each one had his own small palace. Swamiji stayed with a local merchant, and there is a beautiful lake there in Mount Abu. Swamiji used to go for a walk every evening by the side of the lake. In no time he came to be noticed by people there. Gradually the news spread until it reached the ears of this person, Maharaja Ajit Singh of Khetri. Khetri is a city-state in the northern part of Rajputana. The Maharaja had come to the south, Mount Abu, to stay in his palace because it was hot summer. So, the Maharaja also heard about it. He came to know about Swamiji. Again, he came to meet Swamiji where he was staying, told him, "Why don't you come and stay with me in my palace?" Swamiji again said, "No, I am happier with the common people, but we can meet every day." One day the Maharaja told him, "Swamiji, I am planning to go back to my city, Khetri. Would you like to come with me?" Swamiji was a freelancer. He had a lot of free time. So he said, "Yes, I can come with you." So one day the two of them, along with the entire retinue, decided to travel to Khetri. Part of the distance by train, the rest of the distance by a horse carriage, until they came to Khetri. The Maharaja again asked Swamiji, "Please come and stay with me in the palace." Swamiji refused. He said, "Suggest to me some nice person in the city with whom I can stay." Arrangements were made. And every evening Swamiji would come to the palace and have discussion with the Maharaja. One evening, the Maharaja told him, "Swamiji, I have arranged for a dinner party in your honor. I have invited many prominent citizens of my state. Only men, no ladies, I have already told you. Parda, no ladies, only men. All stag party." "Fine," Swamiji said. By 8 o'clock, the whole group had gathered. They had dinner together until around 9 o'clock, when they were all sitting there chatting, when Swamiji heard in the corridor the sound of anklets. Chum, chum, chum. Ghungru. Ghungru ki awaaz. A girl walked in, wearing the ghagra, choli, pallu, covered head. She was accompanied by 2 or 3 instrumentalists. Swamiji looked at the Maharaja gravely and said, "Maharaja, what is this? You know, in that all-male gathering, if a girl has to come all alone at 9 o'clock in the night, what does it mean? That the girl belongs to the oldest profession. She was a Vaishya, a prostitute, a singing, dancing girl. And they are called in Hindi, Tawayaf. She was a Tawayaf." Maharaja told Swamiji, "Swamiji, she is a very famous singer, dancer of our town. I have invited her to sing a few songs for your benefit." Swamiji stood up and said, "Maharaja, don't you know that we people, sannyasis, are not supposed to be seen in the company of such women? And he walked out. Came out of the hall and sat outside. The girl was deeply disappointed because she had prepared herself very well to sing for Swamiji's benefit. She asked the Maharaja, Maharaja, shall I go away? Maharaja said, no. You have a golden voice. Sing a song. I am sure it will attract Swamiji back to the hall. So, she got the instruments ready, tanpura, everything, and she sang a beautiful Surdas bhajan in a melodious voice. Those from the north might probably remember this particular bhajan of Surdas. Prabhu more avaguna chittanadharo. Have you heard this? This has been sung by Anup Jalota. It has been sung by Lata Mangeshkar. A large number of very famous Hindustani singers regularly sing this song. Prabhu more avaguna chittanadharo. Samdarsi hai tu, chahe par karo. O Lord, why do you look upon only my evil qualities? You are supposed to have an equanimous eye. So, if you want, you can rescue me. But please don't go on looking at my evil qualities alone. Mind you, the poet is Surdas, the blind poet, who is very famous in Hindi literature as the greatest devotee of Sri Krishna. All his compositions are about Sri Krishna. Prabhu more avagunu chittanadharo. Surdas gives two examples. There is a stone called Paras Patthar, philosopher's stone. Have you heard of this? Philosopher's stone. It has a quality, when it touches iron, the iron is converted to gold. This was the commencement of the science of alchemy. Search for gold. Philosopher's stone. Paras Patthar. Sparshamani in Sanskrita. This Paras Patthar converts to gold the iron bell in a temple. It can also equally convert to gold the iron knife of a butcher which kills animals. Does it make a distinction? What does it matter to the Paras Patthar? Whether it is iron in the temple bell or iron in the butcher's knife? There is the holy river Ganga. There is equally holy river Jamuna. Ganga accepts Jamuna water happily. Where? Allahabad, Sangam, where Jamuna water comes and joins Ganga river. Afterwards, there is only Ganga, no Jamuna. Does it not also at the same time accept ditch water? Where do you think all the sewage of Allahabad or Prayag goes? They are let into the Ganga river. Does it not accept it? Does it reject it? Then why are you making the distinction? Swamiji heard the song and realized the girl is singing to me. You are a sannyasi. For a sannyasi, every human being is Atman. Then why are you making the distinction? Just because for the sake of livelihood, I have become a tawayaf. How can you discard me? Is there no Atman in me also? Atman is there everywhere. How can you make a distinction? Swamiji slowly came back to the hall, sat down, encouraged the girl to sing some more bhajans, and at the end of the day, when the girl wanted to leave, she came and touched Swamiji's feet. Swamiji blessed her, and what makes him even greater, he apologized to her. My dear child, you have opened my eyes to the duty of a sannyasi. This incident is recorded in the archives of the palace of Khetri. That is how we know the story. But a few years later, October 1900, Swamiji was returning from his second visit to the United States with a group of about 8 or 10 people, American disciples. All of them were in Africa at that time. Swamiji wanted to see Europe and Cairo pyramids. So the whole group had come to Cairo and they were staying in a hotel. One evening, Swamiji with 2 American disciples decided to go for a walk. They were not familiar with the landscape of the city of Cairo. They found themselves right in the heart of red light district. The 2 American ladies were very embarrassed. You are going to meet those 2 American ladies later, Mrs. Sarah Bull and Josephine MacLeod. You can say one of them was the right hand of Swamiji, the other was the left hand of Swamiji. They helped him in his work so much in the United States and also in India. They were very close to him also. They told Swamiji, Swamiji, by mistake we have come to red light district, let's go away. Why did they want to leave? Half-clad women standing near the doorways, making lewd remarks and calling Swamiji to their home. They were surprised to see Swamiji walk towards a house. There were 2 young ladies standing outside. Swamiji went and stood in front of them, and the 2 American ladies say there were tears in his eyes. And he told the 2 girls, "Oh mother, you are here in this form also?" The girls were very clever. They were Spanish girls. Very clever. Immediately they curtsied, kissed the hem of his dress and said in Spanish, "Hombre de Dios, hombre de Dios, man of God," and ran inside. Swamiji came back. The 2 American ladies asked him, "Swamiji, what happened? Why did you go to their house? Why were there tears in your eyes? And why did the girls rush back?" Then he told them the story of the Tawayaf in the palace of Khetri. That girl opened my eyes to the fact that the Divine Mother is in them also. So when I had a look at those 2 girls, I didn't see the girls, I saw the Divine Mother in them. That is how the story returned to India and is included in his biography. This is an interesting thing about Swami Vivekananda. Whatever incidents happened to him in India, he never used to discuss with others. But as examples, he used to give that in the United States. I will tell you many more stories of this particular type. Okay. From there, Swamiji took leave of the Raja of Khetri. The Raja of Khetri asked Swamiji a lot of personal questions. Parentage, family, and all these things. That is the time when the Raja of Khetri came forward and said, "Maharaj, you have a lot of important things to do in life. One of the important things is you have to go to United States. There is a parliament of religions. If you want any help, please let me know. I am willing to sponsor you, but you have a lot of important things to do. Don't worry about your family. I will take care of your family. I will maintain your family." Swamiji could not have got better assurance than this from Ajit Singh of Khetri. From there, Swamiji started traveling further south until he came to Jaipur. Jaipur is a very well-known city in Rajasthan, Rajputana. Jaipur is the capital of Rajasthan. In Jaipur, it was hot summer. He was roaming about the streets, going from place to place to give talks. Informal talks, no public lecture. Informal talks. 3 days he roamed like that. 4th day, an old lady came there. "Beta, idhar aao." She called him, "My dear son, come here. You have no covering on the head. You may have a heat stroke. Why don't you cover your head?" Swamiji said, "With what?" "With some cloth or other." He said, "Amma, the upper garment I have is very thin. Will it give protection to my head?" "Don't bother. Come with me home. My late husband had safa, the Rajasthani turban, very colorful kind of turban, which you find regularly in the Colors channel. On special occasions, most of the men wear the turban, and the tail of the turban is hanging over the right shoulder or left shoulder, as the case may be. Come home with me." She took him home, showed him various pieces of cloth, safa cloth, and told him, "Pick up 2. Swamiji chose 2 which are very close to Gerwa color, this ochre color. He said, "Mother, I don't know how to wear it. I will teach you." She taught him how to wear it. See? From that day onwards, wherever he went in India and abroad, on all formal occasions, he used to wear it. Even on the 11th of September 1893, in Chicago, in the Parliament of Religions, on the stage, he wore that safa. He always used to say, as a mark of respect to that dear mother of mine of Rajasthan, Jaipur. From there, he came down to the adjacent state, Gujarat. Okay, he will take a little more time to come to Belgaum. We still keep him here. Gujarat. In Gujarat, he traveled extensively from place to place. Once I took a map of Gujarat, a pencil, and went through the chapter in the life of Swamiji, went on connecting all the places which he had visited. The whole of Gujarat gets covered. Gujarat is a historic place. Why? Gujarat is a historic place of great importance to India. Sri Krishna's empire, Dwaraka. The city of Dwaraka is in Gujarat. Right? And that is where all the activities of Krishna were played out. Later, not Vrindavana, later, even at the time of Mahabharata war, he was living in Dwaraka. Dwaraka was actually built by him. You know, at the end of Mahabharata, at the end of Bhagavatam, there is a mention of the sea coming and covering the entire Dwaraka, drowning it in water. It is a fact. About 20 or 30 years ago, Dr. S.R. Rao, who was the Director General of the Archaeological Survey of India, located that city of Dwaraka. Now we know where Dwaraka is. All the artifacts have been removed from that. And if you go to the Bet Dwaraka, the new Dwaraka, you find an exhibition where you find the whole lot. Swamiji was aware of that. Swami Vivekananda was born in 1863. When did Gandhiji take his birth? 1869. Gandhiji was 6 years younger to Swami Vivekananda, but the two never met each other. They never met each other. Though Mahatma Gandhi had later gone to Bengaluru, he could not meet Swami Vivekananda. For a simple reason, Swamiji had already entered Mahasamadhi. And it is there in Bengaluru that Mahatma Gandhi made the declaration. I told you in the very first day, on the very first day, when I returned from South Africa, I was a patriot. After having read the speeches of Swami Vivekananda, I have become 1,000 times a patriot. That is where he said it, in Bengaluru. He had the highest regard for Swami Vivekananda. And here, in 3 or 4 places, Swamiji was told that there is a Parliament of Religions. Wherever he would go, people would tell him, Swamiji, are you aware that there is a parliament of religions? Why don't you go and represent Hinduism? Swamiji would simply hear, nod his head, but no further reaction. In one place, he stayed with a family for 1 month. And the head of that family told him, Swamiji, why don't you learn French? Swamiji asked him why. Just like that. Because French is there. Learn it. This reminds me of an incident which happened several years later. You know, a New Zealander and a Sherpa of Nepal climbed the Mount Everest for the first time. Tenzing Norgay and Edmund Hillary. When they came down to the plains, newspaper correspondents asked Edmund Hillary a simple question. Why did you climb Mount Everest? You know the answer given by Edmund Hillary? Because it is there. It is there. Throws a challenge. He was the first person to go. Now, lots of people have gone. So, Swamiji learned French. He learned it so well. Later in 1900, when he was in Paris, at the invitation of the French government to participate in a mini parliament of religions, he brushed up his French there and gave 2 talks in French on Advaita Vedanta. That was his mastery of the French language. From there, Swamiji came, he had another interesting experience in Gujarat, Limdi. I have to tell you that experience about some of the problems faced by genuine sannyasis. He came to the town of Limdi. He did not have any address where to stay in Limdi. He went to a shop and asked the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper said, Maharaj, outside the town there is a separate rest house made for wandering monks like you. You go there. Maybe you will get accommodation. Swamiji went there. There was a young man in charge. He asked the young man, is there a single room for me? I want to stay for 2 or 3 days. He said, yes, Maharaj. But otherwise the building is full, Maharaj. The other rooms have been taken by a group of sannyasis and sannyasinis. Swamiji asked him, what do you mean sannyasis and sannyasinis? Don't tell me they are living together. Yes, staying in one big hall together. Then Swamiji realized, my God, to what sort of a place have I come? There must be tantrics. Tantrics believe that sadhana has to be done by a man and woman together. Man representing Purusha, woman representing Prakriti. You know what their belief is? Purusha or Ishvara is here. Prakriti is down below, Mooladhara Chakra, Kundalini. Kundalini wants to go and join Ishvara. But there are 6 blockages, chakras. They don't allow Kundalini to move up. So what does the yogi do? Opens the blockages. Then the Kundalini comes and joins her husband Shiva in the Sahasrara. This is their belief. So obviously Shiva and Shakti have to do sadhana together, but that turned into all kinds of things. They started bringing wine. Why? If you drink wine, Kundalini moves up. Then they said it is not adequate. You must eat fish, Matsya. Why? That way you get rid of disgust. Accept everything as divine. Ultimately it ended in Maithuna, sexual practices. Swamiji got scared. He just didn't know what to do. It was late in the night. He had a dinner, went to his room, closed the door from inside, and a little later he heard a sound. Somebody closing the latch from outside and locking it. Swamiji got scared. That night, he heard the conversation among the tantrics in the next hall. The walls were thin. A man's voice telling a woman, "We have found a suitable subject. The man looks like a great sadhaka brahmachari. Tomorrow your job will be to steal his brahmacharya, and we sacrifice it to Kali, we will become powerful." Swamiji did not know what to do. He couldn't sleep properly in the night. Next morning, the young man came with breakfast for him. He told that young man, "Is it possible for me to leave this place? Maharaj, they are keeping you under constant watch. Even if you leave and go away, they will come chasing you. What are you going to do?" He said, "Can you bring me a piece of paper and a pencil?" The young man brought it. He wrote a letter to the police officer of that town, Limdi, in charge of police. He told the young man to go and give it in the police station. Within half an hour, the police descended upon that building, arrested all the tantrics and released Swamiji, and the inspector told him, "Maharaj, don't commit this foolish mistake. Always stay in the house of householders, where there is a family. Because first of all, they will look after you properly. Secondly, there will be a safety." Swamiji took that advice. From then onwards, he was extremely cautious. From there, Swamiji came to Bombay. He met one gentleman, Vihari Das Desai, to whom a letter of introduction had been given. He stayed with Vihari Das Desai for a few days, and in the house of Vihari Das Desai came these three people again: Akhandananda, Brahmananda, Turiyananda. Swamiji was upset. "Why are you chasing me?" "No, Naren, we are not chasing you. By chance we came here." Then he told them, "No, don't come behind me anymore." They said, "All right, where do you want to go?" "To the southern part of India." Incidentally, Viharidas Desai was a person who accompanied Swamiji all the way to Chicago. He was going to Chicago for the same conference. So Swamiji had a companion up to Chicago also. After spending some time there, he told Viharidas Desai, "I want to go further south. Which place do you recommend?" Desai said, "Pune, the cultural capital of Maharashtra." Anyone here from Maharashtra? I thought there was one person. Yeah. Pune, cultural capital. So Desai purchased him a second-class ticket, put him on the train. Swamiji entered the compartment. Mind you, just a joli, handbag, nothing else, and a danda. Sat on a particular seat. Opposite to him, he saw a person who was dressed like a Maharashtrian Brahmana. Pagdi. The typical Maharashtrian Brahmana Pagdi. You are aware of that? They wear that kind of pagdi, especially on special occasions. He went on staring at Swamiji. "Maharaj, may I know your name?" That gentleman asked Swamiji. Swamiji thought for a while. What was the name he was using until then? Sachidananda. No, I'm sorry, Sachidananda. No, Vividishananda. Now suddenly on an impulse he said, "My name is Sachidananda." Changed it. Why did he change the name? Because three of his Guru Bhais were in Bombay. He didn't want them to come running behind him. If they come somewhere else and ask for Vividishananda, nobody would know. So he changed the name. "And may I know your good name, sir?" That gentleman said, "Bal Gangadhar Tilak." Have you heard his name?
Yes.
Huh? One of the greatest patriots of India. "Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it." His famous statement in the court of law. Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Swamiji became very close friends in that journey from Bombay to Pune And Tilak asked Swamiji to come and stay with him. Swamiji agreed. We leave him there in the happy company of Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Pick him up tomorrow. So we close with the prayer. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
Harihi Om Tat Sat.
Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.